Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being punctual and be present in the class. So I want to start our class by reviewing what we were talking about last class, which was last class we were focusing on simple past tense. We were talking about verb to be in past, right? That was basically our grammar structure. We were discussing in terms of vocabulary party items or things that people usually have at a party. That was the vocabulary that we focused on. We talked about balloons, beer, cakes, candles, and as I said, everything revolved around simple past tense. And that was on page 64 and 65 of English ID. Today we continue, we are going to wrap up simple past tense, especially the verb to be in past, because next class we are going to continue talking about or using the grammatical structure, but we are going to add a new vocabulary part, or we are going to be adding also a new grammatical structure, which is prepositions of place. So to kind of introduce the new topic and to join what we already know from past, I have an exercise that I want us all to do together. I'm going to present to you some sentences, some exercises in which a word is a scramble. So what you have to do is to unscramble the word to be able to complete the sentence or the question, depending on the exercise. So I have here first, hopefully you're going to be able to see it in just a second. This particular exercise, as I said, you have a few scramble words in each of the sentences or questions, and you have to unscramble them. Most of the words, most of these vocabulary words were studied during the lesson of the previous class. Remember that in the previous class, we were also talking about time phrases in the past, like yesterday, last year, and all of that. So in a few of these sentences, you have that particular vocabulary. So I want everybody to take a look at the example so we can have a clear idea of what we are going to be doing. In the sentence number one, or question number one, you have what did you do? And you have the scramble word in parentheses. And there's a word, a letter, sorry, that is highlighted and underlined, and that's the first letter of the word. In this case, it was a Y, so we have yesterday. Can anybody tell me number two? Do you have the scramble word? It's a two-part word, and one of them starts with an L, and the other one starts with an N, and it says, the question, what time did you go to bed?
Last night.
Last night, excellent, very good. And remember that last is a very common time phrase, or one of the words that is very common to use in the past. We say last year, last month, last week, to refer to something in the past. So in this case, you have last night. What about number three? What time did you get up? And you have, again, a two-word scramble word, which two words do you think are here? Number 3. The first one is
This morning.
this morning. Excellent. And even though it might seem, just to clear this up, even though it might seem like this morning is a time phrase that can be used in present, remember that because we're talking about something, an event that already finished, then it's past. Even though we're using, for example, this morning, something that just recently happened, still is past. What about number 4? What did you eat for?
Breakfast.
Excellent, very good. Again, remember that last class we were talking about, a birthday. The listening was about someone having a party and inviting friends, and then it was the new boyfriend and the ex-boyfriend, and they were the vocabulary that was in the conversation was all about food. So again, we're just remembering that vocabulary. Now I want to jump on to number 5. What time did you
Arrive.
arrive? Excellent. And if you see, in this case, in this particular question, arrive is not in past tense, because every time we have the auxiliary did, then we know that the verb is going to be in the base form. It's going to remain in the base form. No need for ed or to change it if it is irregular. Now we have number 6. What is the scramble word?
Exercise.
Exercise. Did you do any exercise last week? Again, if you notice in all of the sentences or all of the questions, if I better say it, we have either time phrases like last week, yesterday, last night, and then we have the verb being used differently. And in this case, because we have the auxiliary did again, the verb does not need to be in the past tense. Now, if we go to number 7, which is the word that needs its form?
Wash.
You watched again. And in this case, I know I sound like a broken record, but remember when you have the auxiliary did, no need to use the verb in the past form. And if you notice, yesterday is one of the most common time phrases that we use in past. Now we have number 8, which is the word that we
Homework.
Homework. Excellent. What about 9?
Friend.
How much money did you
Spend.
spend? Excellent. And again, if you notice, no need for past tense in the verb. And we have the last one we are going to do until 10, and then we are going to move on to the next exercise. Number 10, what is the word that is on scrum that comes out from
Magazine.
Magazine? Excellent. And in here, you can see that another time frame has been used last week. And remember that we were studying and we were focusing our grammatical structure last week on the verb to be, right? The past tense of the verb to be, which was, and were, depending if you're using a pronoun third person singular or you're using the rest of the pronouns. That in this case you can use were, but if you're using he, she, it, then you use was. Now, moving on to our next activity. Our next activity is a reading. I will ask for some of you to volunteer to read this is something that has to do with a past holiday. Probably many of you are going to be able to relate to this reading. Probably not this year or last year, because due to COVID, very few people have been able to travel, right? Especially if it's for vacation. The restrictions have been very hard for everyone. People are only traveling, most people are traveling just to work. And here I have for you this reading. We have last summer holiday. The previous class, it was a past event, which was um, a birthday. And next week, next class, we are going to be talking about the New Year celebration, the last New Year celebration. So keep in mind that next week, we are going to be, I'm going to be asking, or we are going to be reading about how your New Year celebration, or we are going to be finding common aspects of the celebrations that we have here in El Salvador and in other countries. And as I said, this is a very different year from the rest, because probably many of the traditions or many of the things that people did in the past years, when there wasn't a lockdown or there wasn't a pandemic, was celebrated differently than the recent year that just passed, that for many people the celebration changed drastically. So here we have this reading, and it is, I will need a volunteer to read. Any
I
volunteer?
me teacher.
Excellent, go ahead.
Last summer I went to Nice. It's a great place to have a holiday. People are very friendly and hospitable, especially the port of Nice is a fantastic place to visit. On the first day, we went to a restaurant with a terrace. It had a wonderful view of the sea. Also, the dishes were absolutely delicious. On the second day, we went to two museums. First, we went to an art museum. There were many pictures, but there were many contemporary contemporary art production. I didn't like them a lot. Second, we went to a very unusual museum of brick a rock. There was a lot of old brick rock from different places in the world. It was really interesting to see. After visiting the museum, we returned to our hotel room as we were really tired. Finally, we spent a whole day at the Red Beach and nice. We sang sunbed and had a great time on the beach of Nice. It was a short but very entertaining and relaxed holiday. I definitely want to go to Nice again.
Excellent reading, thank you very much. So in the reading, you can see this particular author is describing a holiday, right? A vacation, that the last vacation she had. And there's a place, and it's being described all of the activities that person did in this particular place. And if you notice, the whole story is in past tense, all of the verbs that are being used, the past tense is the grammatical structure to be used, because this is an activity. Remember that that's the past tense. It's all about an activity that started and finished in the past. Now, to talk about this reading, can anybody tell me what was the first thing that he did when he was in this particular place? What's the first activity? One of the first activities that it's being mentioned in this.
Went to a restaurant.
Excellent, very good. Went to a restaurant and enjoyed the dishes, right? Enjoyed the food, and he describes that the food was delicious. What was the second activity that is being described in this reading that was part of the itinerary?
We went to 2 museums.
Museums, right? And he describes that he didn't appreciate it very much, or he didn't like it very much, the contemporary art and the art production. And then what was the after the museums, what happened after going to the museums?
Restaurant or hotel.
Excellent, excellent. They went back to the hotel, and the last activity that they did was
Swam in the sunblade.
yes, excellent. That's what they did, right? They spend the day on the water. Now, let's talk about the true and false part, just to make sure that the story was understood. On the first true or false exercise, it says that the author liked the food in the restaurant. Is that true or false? What do you think?
It's
Go ahead, sorry. True or false? He liked the food? True, yes, it's true, excellent. What about number two? He went to an art museum after the bric-a-brac museum.
False.
False, right? Because he first went to the museum and then to the bric-a-brac museum. What about number three? He had long holiday there.
False.
False, excellent. Number four, he spent the last day at the beach. Is that true or false? Tell me, true or
True.
false? It's true, right? He spent the day on the water. And the last one, he only went to 2 museums on the second day. Is that true or false?
Hmm.
True, it's true, right? Okay, and the last activity that I have for you guys regarding the review of this particular structure, I want to, probably you have, I mean, I'm sure that you have played this game before. I'm going to divide you into 2 groups, right? We're going to have team 1, it's going to be the girls, and team 2, it's going to be the boys, okay? So you can choose between 1 and 16. All of these questions and all of these exercises are related to the verb to be in past. So let's start with the girls. Girls, tell me, you start. Tell me a number, girls. Have you played this game before, Bamboozle? Probably, right? Can you hear me, guys?
5.
5, okay. Let's click on 5. The dogs which would you use? Was or were in the garden? Girls? Was? Um, it was weren't, right? Because remember that was is for singular and weren't is for plural, right? Okay. Boys, your team too. Tell me a number.
8.
7.
Okay, 8 or 7. I'm going to go with 8. Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. You swap points. So the boys have -10 and the girls, you have an opportunity now. Okay, girls, tell me a number.
10.
10? Okay. You at music club yesterday, why not? Was or weren't? 12 seconds, 10.
Weren't.
Sorry, again?
Weren't.
Okay. And you are correct. Okay, boys, your opportunity. Tell me a number.
12.
12, okay. Tom and Henry at the museum.
Where?
Okay. And yeah, you were okay. Even though it's, so you have 5. Girls, your turn. Tell me a number.
6.
6. They're hungry at breakfast. Where? Was?
Where?
Okay. And you are okay. Boys, it's your turn.
11.
11.
11. Okay. We at the park.
Wearing.
We weren't at the park. Weren't.
Okay. Excellent, guys. Almost close to the girls. Now, girls, your turn. Tell me a number.
9.
9. Okay. Our teacher at school yesterday. Which one?
Was.
Was. Yes, you're correct. Okay. Boys, your turn.
4.
4. Okay. Wow, guys, you win 50 points. You're ahead of the girls now. Girls, it's your turn. Tell me a number.
3.
3. Okay. My friends and I at the party last night.
Where?
Okay.
Where?
You are correct, girls. Only 10 points of difference. Boys, it's your turn.
7.
7. Okay. My mom and dad in the
We're in the
garden.
garden. Where?
Okay. Excellent. Very good. Okay. 30 points of difference. Girls, it's your turn.
13.
Okay. 13. Oh, girls, good. You win 20 points. Only 10 points of difference. Boys, your turn.
14.
14. You, happy to see Mark again.
You was.
You was.
Sure. It was where. Oh. Okay, 5 points different. Girls, it's your turn.
15.
15. We, in town yesterday.
Where?
Okay,
Where?
good girl. Okay, the girls are winning right now. Boys, your turn.
16.
16. Okay. Eat. Which?
It was.
Was. Okay. You are correct. Girls, it's your turn.
2.
2. Okay. The science lesson I love.
Was.
Okay. Excellent. And let's see, boys, let's see if you can. And you take 25 points in the boys one because of that. So that was, you know, now that's all I had for us to practice the past tense, specifically the verb to be. I don't know if you have any questions or any doubts about this particular grammar structure or this vocabulary that we were studying. Tell me if you have any questions or any doubts, please.
Teacher,
Yeah, go ahead.
please remember me because why use where in you?
You. Okay, so whenever, remember that you have, I'm going to use the board for this one to be clear. So we have different pronouns, right? We have the pronouns I, we have he, we have she, it, and then we have we, you, sorry, I'm going to make it vertical. You and they. So what we do is, since in the present we have I am, and in the past am becomes was. In the present we have is with all of this, with all of these pronouns, and in the past it becomes also was for all of them. And in the present for these three pronouns, it's are, the verb to be. But in the past, it becomes were. So in the present, the verb to be has three forms, but in the past, it only has two. And since these are divided, I, he, she, and it are for singular, we use was. And we, you, they, we use them for plural, so they become were. That's why. Sometimes there's a confusion also because there's a you that is singular in some to refer to. I'm talking to you, you say, and you know that you is singular. But even though if you're talking about that you singular in the past, it's always going to be were all the time. So that's why in this case, it was where for you. I don't know if I cleared your doubt.
Yes, teacher. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
Teacher, just a question. Can you explain me the difference between you were and you was? And if you have already said it, can you repeat it again? I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry.
Okay, so in the present, there's, I'm going to erase all of this so I don't confuse you. So we have, there is a you plural, and there's a you singular. But for all of them, for the two of them, you're going to always use the verb in plural. For example, I'm going to write two sentences. One is going to be in singular and one is going to be in plural. I'm going to say, you are very intelligent. And then you were all together at the party. So if you see in one of the sentences, in the first one, I'm referring to only one person. One person only. I'm saying it can be Ana is very intelligent, or I can say Jose is very intelligent, or Alejandro is very intelligent. I can substitute that you for one single person, or I'm referring to just one person. But the second one, this you were all together at the party, I'm referring to a group or to several people. And even though in both of the sentences, I'm referring to just one person, and the second one, I'm referring to several people, I'm always using the plural form of the verb to be, always. Whether it is in present or in past, I'm always going to use the plural form of the verb. I don't know if I clear your doubt.
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or any other doubts, guys, that you want us to focus on? No? Okay. So in the next class, as I said, we are going to be talking about reading about different kinds of celebration for the end of a year in different countries. And we are going to continue with the grammatical structure of past, but we are going to be adding a new one, which is prepositions of place, which probably you're familiar with, but we are going to be refreshing all of the knowledge that we have about prepositions of place. So without any further questions, I'm going to finish the class here. I want to thank you guys for participating in the class and for all of your questions. We will see each other in the next class. Hope you have an amazing weekend and that you rest and you take care of yourselves. See you guys. Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
Thank you.
Hi, teacher.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
teacher.
Bye. Take care of yourselves.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care of yourselves.